Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram
Ram ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Please forgive me for interrupting your chanting. I welcome everybody to Bhakti Sangha. May I know who all joined this morning?
Hare Krishna, Vinita Gandhika Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and all the assembled devotees. This is Indulekha Karuna Devi Dasi from Lincoln.
Krishna Indulekha Karuna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining and giving your association. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranams to you and all the assembled devotees. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. This is Caitanya Bhagavat-Adi Khanda.
Lalitangi Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining and giving your association. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Vinita Gandharvika Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Guru and Garanga and all the assembled devotees. This is Nanda Priya Narmada Devi Dasi from Charlotte. Hare Krishna.
So much, Mataji, for joining and giving your association. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Vinita Gandharvi Mataji, Dandavat Pranam to you and all Vaishnavas. Srila Prabhupada, Srila Gurudev ki jai, Vrinda.
Hare Krishna, Vrinda Gopika Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining. Hari Bol. Is there anybody who would like to introduce themselves? Because still Prabhuji is not yet joined. Okay. Hare Krishna. Is there anybody who would like to introduce themselves?
Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru and Gauranga ki jai. This is Shivani from Nashville, Virginia. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Shivani Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much Mataji for joining and giving your...
Hare Krishna, yesterday was Shivani's birthday, so please give your blessing to Shivani Mataji. She's so sincere Vaishnavi, attending Shishi Bhagavatam class, Bhakti Sangha from last 1.5 years.
Hare Krishna, we already wished yesterday Mataji, we missed you, but still again I want to wish her happy Krishna conscious birthday Shivani Mataji. Hari Bol, thank you for your...
Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you so much. Please accept my humble obeisances. Thank you so much for your warm wishes and blessings. Hare Krishna.
Krishna. So, I don't see still Prabhuji in the call. So, I will chant for...
Hare Krishna Mataji, Prabhuji's, they had a power cut, so they're just connecting back to the Wi-Fi. So that's why there's a delay.
Chant for a few minutes until Prabhu comes. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Yes. No. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna
Prabhuji has joined Mataji.
I'll stop the recording. Give 1 minute, Prabhuji. I'm starting the recording. Yeah. And welcome to Bhakti Sangha Japa conference. Today we are very fortunate to have His Grace Govardhana Giri Prabhu to enlighten us on the topic of Sri Caitanya Bhagavat-Adi Khanda 5.1 onwards. Hare Krishna Prabhuji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Prabhu, for your valuable time and association this morning. We are very fortunate to have you on the call. Please take over the call, Prabhu. Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tatho Jayamudiraye Dhanashtapraye Shubhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtike Mukam Karoti Vachalam Bhangam Lankhaide Girim Yatkrpatam Hamande Shri Guru Dinadarinam Brahmananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram Namo Vishwadaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhudale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nidhanamani Namaste Saraswati Devi Gaurvani Prajarane and Vishesh Ashwanyavadi Paschatya Deshatarane Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna. I'm sorry for being late. There are some rain and thunder and all those issues here, so please bear with me as I start. So I am reading from Caitanya Bhagavat-Adi Khanda, chapter 5, beginning onwards. This chapter is entitled Eating the Mendicant Brahmanas Offerings. This is chapter 5 of Adi Khanda. So this is a very famous Leela of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in the Bali Leelas of the Lord. So we start. Next one. Jaya Jaya Bhakta Priya Prabhu Vishwambhara Dvaja Vrajankusha Pada Maha Maheshwara. Translation. All glories to the devotees, beloved Lord Vishwambhara, whose lotus feet are marked with the flag, thunderbolt and goad. He is the Lord of all lords. Commentary. The lotus feet of Sri Vishnu, who is the Lord of lords, are marked with flag, thunderbolt, goad and banner. Text 2. Henamate ache Prabhu Jagannatha Ghare Alakshite Bahuvida Swaprakashakare. Translation. In this way, the Lord secretly manifested various pastimes while residing in the house of Jagannath. Ekadina Daki Bole Misra Purandara Amara Pustagana Bapa Vishwambhara. One day, Jagannath Mishra called to Vishwambhara, "My dear son, please bring my book. Bapera Vachana Suni Ghare Dhanayaya Rinjinu Kariye Nupura Baje Paya." Hearing his father's words, Vishwambhara ran into the room and the sound of ankle bells was heard as he moved. Commentary. Sri Gaurasundara began to manifest his unlimitedly variegated pastimes of Vaikuntha that surpass the material intelligence and vision of ordinary people. Mishra bole katha suni nupurera dhvani chaturdikhe chayadui brahmana brahmani. Jagannath Mishra said, "From where is the sound of ankle bells coming?" The Brahmana couple then began to look around. Commentary. The word Runujhunu refers to the gentle, sweet sound of ankle bells. So, this is Caitanya Bhagavat-Adi Khanda. A lot of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Bali Leela is described here by Vrindavan Das Thakur. And this entire Leela, to begin with, starts with this smaller Leela of Lord Gauranga Mahaprabhu proving to his parents that he is the Supreme Lord. But as we see, similar to Krishna Leela, here the parents, out of their Vatsalya, do not consider him to be the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, all glories to the devotees, beloved Lord Vishwambhara, whose lotus feet are marked with the flag, thunderbolt and goad. He is the Lord of all lords. So, we understand from Shastra that when the Lord appears, there are certain signs that prove that personality to be the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also displayed these signs which confirmed that he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So that is indicated here by the author saying that Lord Vishwambhara, whose lotus feet are marked with the flag, thunderbolt and goad. So these type of markings are important for a person to know that the personality is Supreme Lord, none other than the Supreme Lord. And although the Supreme Lord, as Lord Vishwambara, as Lord Gauranga Mahaprabhu, exhibited these things, but it is his Yogamaya, it is his wonderful Yogamaya potency that his own parents, they did not realize it. Although it was all there, they somehow did not. This is what we call the Yogamaya potency of the Lord. Very similar to Yashoda, Maya, when she would, when an Asura or a Rakshasa comes and, troubles and Lord Krishna kills, then immediately we see that she will take him, she will bathe him, she will bathe him with the Gomutra, she will pass him under the cow's tail, and then she will feed him breast milk, and then she will pray to Lord Narayana to protect the child, etc., etc., without actually realizing that her son is the Supreme Personality of God and Narayana himself. So the Lord also maintains this in his Leela in such a way that the devotee is able to enjoy that position in the Leela. It is very, very important, because just imagine if Shachimata knew that Lord Gauranga is the Supreme Personality of God, and how would she feel? Or if Jagannath Mishra were to know and understand that this is the Supreme Personality of God, and how would he feel? So he won't be able to have that satisfaction of serving the Lord in that Vatsalya Rasa. And because for Vatsalya Rasa, it is very, very important also. For all rasas, it is important. But if you take Dasya Rasa, for example, already that Prabhu and Dasa Rasa is already there. So if the devotee realizes that, yes, my Prabhu is the Supreme Personality of God, all the better. Because then, it gives more, what shall I say, interest in the rasa. But you take Vatsalya Rasa, and if the devotee comes to know that this is Supreme Personality of God, then finished. He won't be able to enjoy that rasa at all. So we see that whenever the Supreme Lord is there and he is enacting the Leela, the parents would never know. The parents would never know, and they would always look at him only as the son. And even when they see, like Devaki and Vasudeva, originally the Lord appeared four-armed form in front of both of them, and he said that, 3 Janmas, this is your third, I have fulfilled all your desires, etc., etc. And then they completely forgot. And when again Devaki sees Krishna back again after his years in Vrindavan, and when he comes back, that same Matru Vatsalya she will show. Vasudeva also, that same Pitru Vatsalya he would show. Because that is what would enrich the devotional ecstasy, the experience of devotional ecstasy that the devotee gets. And the Lord is very, very particular. The Lord is always looking at how much the devotee is experiencing in depth that rasa, in whichever rasa that devotee is enacting, engaging with the Lord. The Lord also would reciprocate in a similar way. So similarly here, Lord Gauranga Mahaprabhu also, you see, he is Sachimata's son. He is called Nimai, and now he's a very young boy, and he's a very mischievous, naughty boy. But at the same time, he is very loving to the parents, as the Supreme Lord always is. And one day, Jagannath Mishra calls Vishwambara, and he asks him to bring a book. So the Lord is going into the room to bring the book for his father. And as he's running into the room, Jagannath Mishra is hearing, Runu Jhunu Kariye Nupura Baje Pai. He's hearing some ankle bell ringing sound. Sri Gaurasundara began to manifest his unlimitedly variegated pastimes of Vaikuntha that surpass the material intelligence and vision of ordinary people. And what is this? What is so anokha, or what is so unique about this Lord Gaurasundara as he ran into the room and the ankle bells are ringing? What is so special about that? Because Jagannath Mishra and Shachimata did not tie any ankle bells to Lord Chaitanya. Amara putrera paye nahika nupura kothay bajila vadya nupura mazura. My son is not wearing ankle bells. So where has the sweet sound of ankle bells come from? Kiyat buddha dui jane mane mane gane vachananas pure dui jane ravadane. They both considered the incident to be most strange and they were unable to speak. So imagine the ecstasy, although it is in the form of bewilderment. They are both bewildered because my son is not wearing ankle bells. He is going into the room and I am hearing ankle bells. The Lord gave the book to his father and then went outside to play. But when the couple went inside the room, they experienced another wonder. So the Lord gave the book, he goes out, and Sachimata and Jagannath Mishra Prabhu, they are going inside the room. They are just wondering from where the ankle bell sound is coming. Sabe grihe dekhe aparupa pada chinna dwaja vraja ankusha patakati bhinna bhinna. All over the room, there are extraordinary footprints decorated with signs like flag, dwaja, vraja, ankusha, pataka, adi, bhinna bhinna. Flag, thunderbolt, ankusha, and banner, pataka. So these signs, they are seeing pada chinna. They are seeing footprints having these signs: flag, thunderbolt, god, and banner. And imagine their wonder. And how do they reconcile to that? That is even more wonderful. Anandida donhe dekhi apurva charana donhe haila pulakita sajalanayana. They both became filled with ecstasy on seeing those incomparable footprints. Their hair stood on end and tears flowed from their eyes. Pada Padma dekhi donhe kare namaskar, donhe bole nistari mo janma nahi yaar. They both offered obeisances to those lotus footprints and said, "We are delivered. We will not take another birth." Commentary. One who even once sees the lotus feet of Lord Vishnu is delivered from material existence. In other words, such a person attains the supreme destination known as that place from which no one returns. It is stated in the Vishnu Dharmottara, Tavad Brahmanti Samsare Manushya Mandabuddhayaha Yavad Rupam Napashyanti Keshavasya Mahatmanaha. A less intelligent person continually wanders in the cycle of birth and death as long as he does not see the form of Keshava. Understanding this, the Brahmana couple, who considered themselves ordinary persons, spoke in this way. Misra bole suna vishwarupe rajanani grita paramanna rantha apani. Jagannath Mishra said, "Listen, mother of Vishwarupa, go and cook some fried rice with ghee for our salagrama. Ghare achena damodara salagrama panchagavye sakale karamutane snana." Tomorrow morning, I'll bathe our Damodara Salagram with Panchagavya. Commentary. The word Damodara Salagram refers to one of 24 varieties of Salagram Shilas. One may refer to the 5th chapter of Haribhakti Vilas. The family deity of Jagannath Mishra was Sri Salagram. Panchagavya refers to milk, yogurt, ghee, cow urine, and cow dung. And Snana means Abhisheka or bathing the deity. Bhujilana tenho ghare bhulena apani. Ata eva sunilana nu purera dhvani. I can understand that our salagram is walking around the room. That is why we heard the sound of ankle bells. Hey mate dui jane parama hari se salagrama puja kare prabhu mane hase. In this way, they both worshipped Salagram Shila with great satisfaction, and the Lord smiled with them. So they are seeing the lotus footprints of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Gauranga Mahaprabhu, as a small boy, he has walked in that room and made sure that his lotus footprints are shown on the floor so that his father and mother can see. And they're seeing that. And how do they reconcile to that? Because Jagannath Mishra is a Brahmana, he is a Pandita. He knows Shastra and everything. But at the same time, he has no clue that his son only is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So they are both seeing, he's showing to his wife also, look at this, the lotus footprint of the Lord has fallen in our house. That means the Lord is there in our house and he has given us darshan through that lotus feet of his. That means we will not take birth again. So based on Shastra, based on what is said in Shastra, he very correctly concludes that having seen the real footprint of the Supreme Lord, now we will not take birth again. So it is very important for devotees to understand that some expression of the Lord that we see in terms of worshipping him in the Archavigraha form, the Archavatara form, and when we receive some reciprocation from the Lord, we must understand that the Lord is actually giving us an indication that I am here, I am accepting your service. And that gives confidence to the devotee. Yes, my Lord is there. He is reciprocating. And definitely I am on the right path. Of course, Jagannath Mishra is on another level altogether. But for anybody who is worshipping the Lord in the Archa form, because it's very, very important. So here Jagannath Mishra's house, as was the custom in those days, all Vaidiki Brahmanas would worship Salagram Shila in their homes, because Salagram Shila, as we all know, is the self-same Supreme Personality of Godhead and it does not require installation. So normally when Archa Vigraha form is brought, invited to the temple, there has to be Nyasa Homa and then there has to be a systematic installation of the deity, and then the prana is done avahana into the deity, etc., etc., and then the Lord's presence is established in the deity, and then the Lord in that archa form accepts the worship of the devotees. That is the importance of deity worship. And in this case, in Jagannath Mishra's case, he is worshipping Salagram Shila. So this also, for the Grihasthas, Salagram Shila worship is more simplified, because one thing is that he is self-installed. So there is no grand installation ceremony required to worship Salagram. And also in Salagram worship, another very good thing or convenient thing for the Grihastha is that Salagram Shila is very satisfied with very minimum worship. You know, some Gangajal, some Tulsi, some Naivedya, and he is satisfied. So Grihasthas, they worship Salagram as the Supreme Lord is Salagram Shila, and the Lord reciprocates. The most famous reciprocation, we all know how Lord Radharaman Ji, manifested from a Salagram Shila and started accepting all the worship. So similarly, here Jagannath Mishra is telling his wife that our Damodar Salagram, because he is a Supreme Lord, you see, although the Salagram Shila is shaped like a stone, and some markings are there which identifies which Salagram. There are a Salagram expert will tell you that this is a Varaha Salagram or a Matsya or a Kurma or Sudarshan Chakra, Narsingha, Lakshmi Narayan. All types of Salagram Shilas are there. Although a word of caution is that nowadays you will find much more duplicate Salagram Shilas, which are actually black stones carved very nicely and made to look like Narsimha and Sudarshan Chakra, etc., etc. And a lot of devotees are sort of fooled into buying these things. So that's just a word of caution on the side. But original Salagram Shilas are self-same Supreme Personality of Godhead who can be worshipped without installation. And the Lord will accept our worship as the Supreme Lord in our homes. So that is the greatness about Salagram worship. So Jagannath Misra and Shachimata, so they are worshipping Salagram Shila in their house. And now, having seen these lotus footprints, Jagannath Misra has decided that yes, the Lord is walking around in my house. That means my life has become successful and there is no next Janma for you and me, husband and wife. He's telling his wife also. So that's also the proper Grihastha attitude, that, I won't go alone. I will ensure that you also get your way, back to God. So that is how the entire Grihastha paradigm is supposed to work. So this is also an ideal scenario where we see how he's also telling his wife that yes, you and me together, because you are assisting me in the worship of the Lord, and therefore if the Lord is pleased with me, the Lord is pleased with you as well. So he is telling that, hey, mother of Vishwarupa, the Lord is pleased with us because of our worship, and he is walking around in the house. So tomorrow I will perform special Panchagavya Abhisheka for the Lord, for the Saligram Shila. And you please make some wonderful rice offerings so that we will offer that as Naivedya to the Lord also. So, how based on Shastra, Jagannath Misra is very wonderfully reconciling the presence of the lotus feet that is seen inside his house. He's immediately linking it with his deity worship. And how that deity worship has brought him to the level of perfection that he says that now there is no need for rebirth either for you or for me, because the Lord is very mercifully accepted our worship and he has blessed us by showing his presence, showing his blessings, that we will not have another birth. So I'm just tying this deity worship with a very wonderful narration I heard from His Grace Rameshwar Prabhu very recently. Very recently, we offered the Malayalam Caitanya Charitamrita to Srila Prabhupada just about a month ago. And we had a big event and it was attended by His Grace Rameshwar Prabhu and His Holiness Jayadvaita Swami Maharaj, His Holiness Jayapadala Swami Maharaj, His Holiness Banu Swami Maharaj. It was a very big online plus offline function. And His Grace Rameshwar Prabhu was very much overwhelmed by the occasion because His Grace Rameshwar Prabhu was directly involved in that original Caitanya Charitamrita marathon, where Srila Prabhupada was translating, and the team led by Rameshwar Prabhu were in charge of, proofreading, checking, typesetting, and then printing the Caitanya Charitamrita. And this was going on at a breakneck speed. This is a legendary narration. I have heard this many times from different devotees, how the Caitanya Charitamrita marathon is like a, it's like a legendary narration. Because Srila Prabhupada was faster than all these people put together. Prabhupada was translating at a breakneck speed, and an entire team that was, Prabhupada was translating to his dictaphone, and then there's another team that will write it down and, write it or type it down, and then there's the other team, and they were falling behind Prabhupada. And this was going on at a hectic speed where people were working, 24 hours a day or, hardly 2 hours of sleep. And, this was going on like that. And one day, Rameshwar Prabhu, he met Srila Prabhupada, and it seems he asked him that, how do we reconcile this work as devotional service? In what type of way do we reconcile this? Because, in this, actually, we are going through a lot of stress because, it is at the end of the day, on one side, we are printing transcendental literature. On the other side is a printing job. So everything that goes with the printing, publishing job, and when you have to do it like yesterday, you have a deadline that already ended yesterday. That is the kind of situation they were going through. So Rameshwar Prabhu asked Srila Prabhupada, and Srila Prabhupada told him that you should consider this to be like deity worship. Until you proofread and print this book, this is like deity worship. And when you print this book, publish it, and then you start distributing, that is Sankirtan. So until you go through this whole process, that is deity worship. And then once you start distributing it, that is Sankirtan. So he was saying that, all of you have gone through the deity worship phase, and now you have to distribute these books. That is like the Sankirtan phase of your service. So very interestingly, so how Srila Prabhupada would connect everything directly with the Supreme Lord, whatever seva we are engaged in, in our, all of us are engaged in some type of seva or the other. Somebody is preaching, somebody is teaching, somebody is cooking, somebody is cleaning, somebody is doing pujari service, somebody is doing, there are unlimited services in the, in devotion that one can offer to the Lord. And then there is unlimited scope for increasing that service also. So in this way, he was saying that, so this is also like deity worship, because, you have to be very pakka, because the end product should, because we are the Bhaktivedanta Book Trust, and you cannot have some shoddy product. Srila Prabhupada is very, very particular on how, including the binding, including the front, including the insets, what painting should go where. Srila Prabhupada had very clear-cut idea about all those things. What is the thickness of the paper, what type of font set should be there, everything Prabhupada. So it is not that they were just, he is dictating, they are typing, they are proofreading, they are printing. It's not like that. Everything as per the standards laid down by Srila Prabhupada, page by page, they had their work cut out. So Prabhupada equated that with deity worship, because in deity worship also, you cannot have some shoddy job, you have to be very, very pakka in whatever we do. Not that in other things we are not pakka. In deity worship especially, we have to be very, very pakka. So that is a very disciplinary side of our devotional service, deity worship. So here, Jagannatha Mishra is expressing his happiness that our Saligram Shila is reciprocating to our service. So, Archavatara form of the Lord actually is one of the Lord's most munificent incarnations. Of course, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the most munificent incarnation, but also the Lord as Archa in the form of Archa Vigraha is very, very merciful. You know why? Because the Lord in his Archa form becomes completely controlled by his devotees, by the Sevakas. He is the supreme independent Lord. He is the supreme independent Lord who can do anything that he wants, at any time that he wants, in any way that he wants, anywhere that he wants. You think about any type of independence, the Lord is complete with all that. Does not lack in any of those things. But when the Lord appears as Archa Vigraha, he, in Pratyaksha Bhava, he gives up all those independence. He has to take a bath, he has to wait for you. For the pujari to come and start the abhishekam, the Lord has to wait. To be woken up, he has to wait for the pujari to wake up on time, finish his duties, and then come and wake him up. Right from waking up to brushing his teeth to taking a shower, then accepting bhog, Imagine. And he cannot even move around by himself. He will simply stand there, until those days come when we take him out in the Ratha or any other festival in whatever way. Or when we have his Utsava Murti taken out, either which way. So, Archavadara is where the Lord comes and becomes controlled by the devotee. In a very, what shall I say, pratyaksha, means in a direct way, the Lord is giving himself in the hands of his devotees. So, serving the Lord in that way is also a greatly fortunate thing that can, that can be experienced by a devotee. And also, that increases that personal relationship that the devotee has with the Lord. And also, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur said that this instills discipline. This instills discipline because, we realize that, yes, the Lord is there. He is a person. So he has to be attended to in a timely manner. He has to be honored in the proper manner. So all these discipline will come, when there is worship of the Lord in the regulated manner. So this is a great boon for the devotee also, that the Lord has agreed to accept it like that. Otherwise, without a vidhi, we will not be able to do anything. No? For everything, there should be shastra vidhi. Is it not? In Bhagavad Gita also, Krishna says shastra vidhi. It has to be done according to the vidhi of the shastra. What is laid down in the shastra only we can do. So, shastra also the Lord has given, and in the shastra he's also given this Archa Vigraha worship so that the devotee benefits. Otherwise, just imagine what is the benefit for the Lord to be coming in the form of a Panchaloha, or coming in the form of stone, or coming in the form of wood, or coming in any other dhatu form in the material world, in the material form. What benefit is there for the Lord? He has no benefit. But in order to benefit the living entity who is suffering in the material world, the Lord decides and very mercifully comes and accepts the invitation by the Acharya, and he stays there accepting the worship of the devotees. So that also is a great fortune for the devotees. In ISKCON, we have all the deities installed by Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada very lovingly invited Krishna and Balaram to Vrindavan. He very lovingly invited Shri Radha Madhav to Mayapur, Shri Radha Ras Bihari to Bombay, in various other places, in US also, many places where Prabhupada himself invited lovingly the Lord to come and reside as Archa and accept the offering of the devotees. That very famous instance is there, I remember, in Prabhupada Leelamrita, where in Australia, Prabhupada installed deities, and they were all very new devotees, and some of them got first and second initiation together. And Prabhupada told the Lord himself that, I am leaving you in the hands of these inexperienced people, so you please take care of yourself and take care of them as well. So, Lord coming as Archa Vigraha form is a great boon to the devotees. And here, Jagannatha Mishra and Shachimata, they are very experts in worshipping the Lord in the Archa Vigraha form. So, seeing the lotus footprints of Gauranga Mahaprabhu in his house, he concludes based on Shastra, because I am worshipping Saligram Shila in my house. The Lord, although he is in the form of a Shila, he can walk, he can accept, is it not? In Ishopanishad it says, although he is very far, he is very near. Although he can't move, he moves faster than anybody else. Nobody can chase him. You know, although he has no limbs, he accepts. You know, so Shastra with him. So based on that, Jagannatha Mishra understands that although the Lord is in the form of a Saligram Shila, he accepts the worship, and now he has manifested himself walking around our house. How wonderful it is. But you see the Yogamaya potency of Lord Gauranga Mahaprabhu, that he has done it, he has gone out to play, and father and mother are thinking, oh, Saligram Shila has done this. So this is the further beauty of Gauranga Mahaprabhu's Yogamaya Leela. So they both became filled with ecstasy on seeing those incomparable footprints. Their hair stood on end and tears flowed from their eyes. They both offered obeisances to lotus footprints and said, we are delivered, we will not take another birth. Jagannath Mishra said, listen, Mother of Vishwarupa, go and cook some fried rice with ghee for our Saligram. Tomorrow morning I shall bathe our Damodar Saligram with Panchagavya. I can understand that our Saligram is walking around the room. That is why we heard the sound of activities. In this way, they both worshipped Saligram Shila with great satisfaction, and the Lord smiled with him. Now, Arayaka Katha Suna Paramadbhuta Yeranga Karila Prabhu Jagannatha Sutta. Now, please hear another wonderful pastime performed by the son of Jagannatha. This is, now we are coming to the main part of the chapter, which forms the title of the chapter. Parama Sukriti Eka Tairthika Brahmana Krishna Uddeshe Kare Tirtha Paryatana. One most pious mendicant Brahmana was wandering to various holy places in search of Krishna. Now, it is very important to note that what is told about this Brahmana. Parama Sukriti Eka Tairthika Brahmana Krishnera Uddeshe Kare Tirtha Paryatana. So one thing is that Parama Sukriti means his Sukriti has reached its top. Okay. Why I am saying this is important to note is that would make the rest of the Leela more easy to understand. Parama Sukriti Eka Tairthika Brahmana. So there was this Brahmana, Tairthika means mendicant, wandering around different tirthas. So Parama Sukriti, one who had already topmost Sukriti, and he was wandering around. What was his aim? Krishnera Uddeshe Kare Tirtha Paryatana. So, what is the idea or what is the aim of visiting tirthas? You know, it is very important to always remember, because of late, or now we see in India, you will find that, you know, this tirthadana has become like a picnic. You know, there is a season, you know, now the Chardham season will start. And of course, there are a lot of pious people who also do all these dham visits, but there are also a lot of people who just, you know, go like it's as if it's a picnic. You know, you will find those type of people in any tirtha. Now you go in India, especially all parts, you will find a lot of people just coming. They don't even know who is the presiding deity. They won't even know what is the significance of the place. They won't even know. They just come. You know, they just come and they just go through the motion, and then, you know. So here, very important thing. Krishnera Uddeshe Kare Tirtha Paryatana. So one must always be very fixed in one's mind that when I am going to visit a tirtha, what am I going there for? That focus is very, very important for each and every tirtha yatri. Your tirtha yatra means we are going for improving our spiritual journey. That tirtha visit should definitely add value in terms of enriching our spiritual life. That is the idea of visiting any tirtha. So we shouldn't be focused on the other peripheral stuff, because if we are focused on the peripheral stuff, we will lose what is the essence that we are going for. So it is always very important that whenever we are going, visiting any tirtha, we should first, there should be some prior training of the mind. Because we know when we go on tirtha, we will also find unsavory people. We will also find all kinds of, irritating, so many things. And we are all used to so much of modern comforts and, so many things. And where a tirtha would not fulfill any of those things. So it is very important to be mentally prepared when we do any tirtha yatra, that this is what I am going for. Because you see this person, this Brahmana, Paramasukriti eka tirthaika Brahmana, Tairthika Brahmana, Krishnere uddeshe kare tirtha pariyata. So, having attained so much Sukriti, his idea of wandering from one tirtha to the next was to search for Krishna. And how he was doing that? Shadakshara Gopala Mantrera Kare Upasana Gopala Naivedya Vina La Kare Bhojana. He worshipped the Lord with the 6-syllable Gopala mantra, and he would eat only what he had first offered to Gopala. So that is his tapasya. He is a traveling Brahmana, but he had this tapasya that he worshipped the Lord with the 6-syllable Gopala mantra, and he would only eat what he had offered to Gopala. So that is definitely a tapasya. The 6-syllable Gopala mantra refers to the mantra that begins with Omkara, Kama Bija, then dative case, and ending with Namaha. So that's Gopala mantra, that's a Diksha mantra that the Gaudiya Vaishnava Parampara that is given. So this Brahmana is initiated into the mantra, and he was very particular that he will worship the Lord with that mantra, and he will make an offering to the Lord, and only after that offering is concluded successfully, after the Lord having accepted the bhoga, then this Brahmana will take prasad. So one thing is Parama Sukriti. Second thing is his idea of wandering around, this idea of going from one tirtha to the next is to search for Krishna. And the third is that he is a very good tapasvi. He has got some very good tapasya discipline, that worship plus offering, then only prasada. Normally we go the other way. Prasada, then worship, and then mantra. If no prasada, then no worship, no mantra. We would become very weakened if there is no prasada. But this Brahmana, because he had this intense desire in searching for Krishna and finding Krishna. So when the desire is intense, the tapasya becomes very easy. We must understand that. When you're intensely desiring for something in life, especially if it is a material thing, we would be willing to undergo any amount of tapasya. We can give up so many things because we want to attain that result that we are looking for. So we are willing to do, all time we are willing to make compromises. We are willing to Give up so many things so that we can catch that. So that is something that we practice in our material life throughout. Everybody does it, without a second thought. It's very easy to do. But when somebody is spiritually inclined and is advancing, then when he fixes that this is what, my aim is, then for him, these tapasyas become very easy. The tapasya does not look like a tapasya at all. Many things that look very difficult to us, for a spiritually advanced person, they are not at all difficult. That is why there is this famous question by Srila Prabhupada, what is the difficulty? In fact, there is even a book now published. It's entitled, What is the Difficulty? All contexts wherein Prabhupada asked this question, what is the difficulty? Because Prabhupada would be astonished when, people will say this is difficult, that is difficult. Because Prabhupada is a Mahabhagavat. He is so advanced in spiritual life. When he gives these instructions, for him, they are very, very simple, very achievable. So when people come back and say this is difficult, that is difficult, then Prabhupada would very, very straightforward, very simply, very naturally, Prabhupada would ask, what is the difficulty? And the hearer would be thinking, how is it that Prabhupada does not understand how difficult it is? Similar this tapasyas also. For us, all these small tapasyas also look very difficult. Going through our daily devotional routine is tapasya. Chanting 16 rounds is tapasya. Doing minimum devotional service is tapasya. Accepting only prasadam is a tapasya. So everything is great tapasya for us. Ekadashi, following Ekadashi is a tapasya. Planning how to do an Ekadashi by bending the rule to the maximum without breaking the rule, that is another tapasya. So in a spiritually immature situation and condition like that, everything, all tapasyas look very, very, insurmountable. But as one becomes more and more focused on one's what do I want to, in terms of what I want to achieve, what is my ultimate aim? When I become more and more fixed on that, then all these tapasyas become very easy. So we just have to see whether going back to Godhead is our ultimate aim. Are we fixed on that? Getting prema bhakti, are we fixed on that? Or at least making spiritual progress, are we fixed on that? Then we will know whether the tapasya is difficult or not. So the more and more tapasyas look difficult, that means there is a long way to go to fix the target. Or rather, target is there, but we are not fixed on getting to the target, because for everybody, the target is the same. But how fixed am I on getting to the target? If I'm totally not fixed, then each and everything looks like a tapasya. When I'm very fixed, nothing looks like a tapasya, everything looks very easy. So this Brahmana who is traveling and who is now reaching Jagannath Mishra's house, he is very serious about his devotional service. And he is every day worshipping the Lord, and he will cook for the Lord, he will offer to the Lord, and only then he will take prasadam. Deve Bhagyavan Tirtha Bhramite Asiya Milila Vipra Prabhu Rabadite. In course of visiting the various holy places, that fortunate Brahmana arrived by providence at the house of the Lord. You see? So after Brahmanda Brahmite Kono Bhagyavan Jiva, Guru Krishna Prasade Pai Bhaktilata Bija, it says, no, Caitanya Charitamrita. Here, Brahmite, moving around so many tirthas, moving around so many holy places, that Brahmana here Vrindavan Das Thakur says that Brahmana, by providence, because of his Sukruti, because of so much of devotional service that he has rendered to the Lord, so much of eagerness to meet the Lord, to see the Lord, searching for the Lord. So by providence and by great good fortune, that Brahmana is now coming and landing in the house of Jagannath Mishra. So you see, we have to keep on doing our devotional service with seriousness, being fixed in the ultimate goal, and maintain it. Ahaituki apratihata. So we have to maintain it. We should not break it every now and then. And we should remain focused, and we should continue with determination and with enthusiasm, just like this Brahmana. So this Brahmana is a great inspiring lesson in Chaitanya's, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Leela. In Chaitanya Leela, this Brahmana is a great inspiration. That having toured around all the places, finally he is coming. Because in Kali Yuga, to be, doing Tirtha Yatra and to be able to meet the Lord in person, just imagine how fortunate he has to be. So that good fortune is being bestowed upon this Brahmana by the costless mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So in the rest of the chapter, you will be seeing how that mercy comes to be manifested on this Brahmana for all the wonderfully sincere devotional service that he has performed, that now the Lord will ultimately be reciprocating to this Brahmana. So that is the very inspiring history of the Brahmana who is getting the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that is being described in this chapter 5 of the Adi Khanda of Chaitanya Bhagavat. So I will stop here. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat ki jai, Vrindavan Das Thakur ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavat pranams. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you, Prabhu, for such a beautiful insight you brought forward from all these beautiful verses. And about the worship of Shaligram Shila, how important it is, and how under the influence of Yogamaya Shakti, how Jagannath Mishra and Mother Sachi were built. So in your discourse, you were explaining about, that these days we should be cautioned of getting a fake Shaligram Shila. So, which was really, I never thought of it, that corruption in India can go to that extent that they can play around with the deities also. So do you have any idea like how to figure out that what is fake and what is the real one? I'm sorry.
See, with my limited knowledge, I could say, I have heard this both from His Grace Aindra Prabhu and also from His Holiness Bhakti Vishrama Madhav Maharaj, who is another very great expert in deity worship. Both of them, Aindra Prabhu, I have heard in a video advising that a Saligram Shila should only be accepted as either as a bhiksha, or somebody, another worshipper of a Saligram Shila should hand over a Saligram to another person. That is normally how it is done. Traditionally in India, it used to be handed over from father to son like that. Families would worship Saligram Shilas. Otherwise, some mendicant should give you a Saligram Shila to worship. This idea of going to a shop and buying a Saligram Shila is not actually advisable. The other alternative is directly to go to Nepal and jump into the Gandaki and find our own Saligram and come back. That way we would be very safe in worshipping our Saligram Shila. Otherwise, nowadays you will find on the internet, you will find Lakshmi Narayan Saligram Shila, 25,000 rupees, like this. And they'll be very, tastefully carved Saligram Shilas. But Saligram Shilas are not like that. They have certain lakshanas, and then people who know how to identify them, in ISKCON, there are few experts like that. So somebody identifies and then they say, yes, this is this Saligram Shila and you have to worship it like this. Then we can worship. So otherwise, it has now become a very concocted situation where people are handing over Saligram Shila. You go to any holy place, they would say, they would act as if they are giving you a Saligram Shila, and then they would ask for some dakshina. So you would give, and we wouldn't know whether we are actually worshipping the Saligram at all or not. So that's why I just wanted to caution you, because I recently, sometime back, met somebody who has, when he showed me all the Saligrams, he told me I am worshipping some 12 Saligram Shilas. So out of curiosity, I said, I would like to take darshan, and then he showed me. Immediately I was taken aback. Then I asked him, how did you get these Saligram Shilas? So he told me I went and bought all these Saligram Shilas. And when I saw the shape and everything, then I knew that, this is what is going on. So I was very shocked also at that time. So I just shared that here. That's it.
Very nice, Prabhu. Thank you so much. It was really a word of caution for all of us. But thank you.
Because
Thank
we
you.
all become very enthusiastic that we would like to, worship the Lord like that and all that. It is not so easy because Saligram also requires worship, 365 days a year. So
Yes. Yes, Prabhuji. But thank you. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. And thank you for your beautiful, beautiful class. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you for such a wonderful class, Prabhuji, especially, a lot of lessons for us, how to visit a holy place. You started with what is deity worship, even you were busy with preparing the manuscripts for the Malayalam Chaitanya Charitamrita. And then now you're going to distribute or start the distribution also. So how you did both the deity worship and now engaged in Sankirtan. Very wonderful, Prabhuji. You explained how we have to worship Saligram and how to engage ourselves positively and properly. Not take everything is an austerity for us. So, quite eye-opening. Thank you so much for coming. And in spite of all the difficulties and network problems being here. Hare Krishna. I don't have any questions, Prabhuji. Lots to imbibe from the class. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Very beautiful class. As Indulekha Mataji was saying, everything is like if you don't do it from your heart, everything is like austere, like get up in the morning or chanting just 16 rounds. It's like, oh, let we finish it. When is this going to have finished? So my question is, I have been practicing consciousness from years, maybe like couple of years, strictly couple of years. Then when exactly I know devotional service can be done, like some people get the taste of love and they go out of that austere life and then they'll do out of love. But how usually when we will come out of these rules, okay, I have to follow for the name's sake, I'm following it. When I will come out of that stage, Prabhuji?
That's even Bhaktivinoda Thakur said, Kabe hobe bolo seidina mar. So we don't know. We have to keep going. Some people get it faster, some people take a little more time. Only thing we can do is follow what Rupa Goswami said, Utsaha Nischaya Dhairya Tattat Karma Pravartana. So we have to have Utsaha, we have to have Dhairya, enthusiasm and patience and determination. And following in the footsteps of the Acharyas, that is the thing we have to follow. Then automatically it will come. Because, my pace is not somebody else's pace. Somebody else's pace is not the third person's pace. But everybody is running on the same track. And as long as we don't lose track, we will get there. So what we can do is that first thing, not to lose track. Second thing is that taking inspiration from people who are running with us, people who are running ahead of us, people who are running behind us. Everything is an example for us. So we learn from all these experiences and then improve our spiritual life. From everybody we can take inspiration. From all the devotees along with whom we are traversing on this path of spiritual life, we can take inspiration from each and every one of them. Everybody can teach us something, you know. So we have to take it like that and move forward. And always be, as I said, not to lose enthusiasm and not to lose determination also. You know, both has to go hand in hand. Patience also has to be there. If all these things are there, and then we are reading Prabhupada's books and being in the association of devotees, taking shelter of the holy name, definitely we will progress. Definitely, automatically we will come to stage of Nishtha and then Ruchi and then Bhav and everything will come. We just have to keep doing it. Just do it, like Nike says. Hare Krishna.
So our main aim is not to lose out of that. Don't jump out of the track.
Track, be in the track, don't lose track. As long as we're in the track, we may be a little slow, doesn't matter. That does not mean that it gives an excuse, oh, I am on the track, okay, I'll slowly get there, not like that. But most important is not to lose track. And then within the track, we try to improve, our performance by seeing other people. Because we always see there are people who are traveling with us, who are going ahead. So not to become disheartened by somebody who is going ahead, we should just see how he is going ahead, how she is going ahead, and then take all that positives from that, learn, and then we can also go ahead. That's the way we need to look at it.
Thank you, Prabhuji. So nicely explained. Thank you so much. Gaurangi, please go ahead with your question.
Hi, Krishna Prabhu. I was just curious, for one thing, did you let that person know who was worshiping the 12 Shaivam Shilas that those Shilas were not actually bona fide? And if so, how did he react or respond to that news?
I asked him several pointed questions because I informed him that what he has done is not the right way to get Saligram Shila and worship them, first of all. So immediately he was very disheartened, actually. And then he went on the defensive because there was nothing else to do. So I told him, did you ask your immediate senior or, So he said, no, I don't want to name the place. So he said, I went to this place and then I went to this shop. So they showed me all this. And then I was, first trip he went and bought some 3 and then, basically like a collection he has done. But, with the great pomp and he worships and, nice asanas and nice worship. But essentially I informed him that he has been, duped into doing that. He was disheartened, but I think he still continues to worship them.
You know something? I'm just thinking that just occurred to me just now that even though those Shaligram Shilas were not, maybe they were not bona fide, wouldn't Krishna reciprocate with his intention? Because in his mind, right? So, it seems to me that although maybe the Shilas were not bona fide, but it seemed like there shouldn't have been any loss for him.
Yeah, definitely he wouldn't have lost anything because he is worshipping the Supreme Lord with his heart and soul.
Yes.
Very enthusiastically he was worshipping. So he is a very well materially endowed person. So he was, very beautifully decorated in the altar and silver asanas for all the Saligram Shilas and very, very elaborate. So,
but I mean, elaborate or not elaborate, the fact that he put so much of his heart into what he believed, I think Krishna would give him full reciprocation for that.
Yeah,
I would think.
Yes, but then it was my duty as a senior to tell him that.
Oh yes, of course, yeah.
In consultation with people who know, because many times we have enthusiasm, but we don't know. So always when we are overly enthusiastic, we should take guidance from a senior. So somebody who is the expert in that field, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And see, our society, fortunately, we have a lot of experts in any field that anybody wants to get it referred. No, we have, even online, there are devotees, very senior devotees who would give right advice, you know, even in terms of worshipping Saligram. There are a lot of Srila Prabhupada disciples who are experts in deity worship. They would give the, you know, correct instruction. Everybody has access also to these wonderful personalities. So, you know, everybody should do that ideally.
You know what, I'm curious too. This is probably too difficult for you to answer without the Sheilas being like right in front of me. But I was wondering, when you saw those 12 Sheilas and you were shocked, right?
Yeah.
I'm wondering what, again, this is probably too difficult to answer, but I'm wondering what it was that really were like red flags for you when you, what were the characteristics that were like red flags for you when you saw them?
They were too perfect. You see, the original Saligram Shilas worshipped in all our ancient temples. You would find, you know, scientifically, you know, they are fossilized stones, basically, you know. The modern science would call them, you know, fossilized stones. They are, they're very old. And so it is not always, you will not find it always, you know, in that very, what do you call it?
Smooth or
perfect circle. The Lakshanas are completely different. Saligram Shila would not be, the idea of Saligram Shila is not to have you very pleased when you look, you know, no. You have to actually see the Supreme Lord in the Saligram Shila. When the, you know, the authorized worshipper says, yes, this is Sudarshan Chakra, this is Lakshmi Narayana, this is Matsya, this is Nrsimha, this is Kurma, you know. So that, like that.
Are the Shalikam Shilas, are they restricted to a certain number of such avatars like Nrsimha, Shalikam?
There are 24 types, Mataji. It is there in the Haribhakti Vilas.
Okay.
24 also, there are stipulations on how many numbers should be worshipped together. Like, you know, so one should be mindful of all those things when one is worshipping.
There's restrictions as to the number?
Yeah. No, you have to worship, you know, it is either one, if above one means it should be 4 and then something like that.
Okay.
You just can't get, you know, okay, I like this, so I, you know, you have to have some combination number and all is there. So,
okay.
That's why I said before, you know, we start doing these things, we should first refer to people who know how to do it. Then they will guide, then we can do accordingly. You know, because many times what happens is we just want to start something and then we don't know. So don't avoid those things I just said.
Thank you so much, Prabhu.
Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Koti Dandavat Pranam, Srila Prabhupada, Srila Gurudev ki jai. So nicely explained about Sisi, Shaligram, Bhagwan, and all the Leelas, Prabhuji. As usual, your class is so inspiring for all of us. And yes, Prabhuji, when there is a keen desire, somehow Srimati Shri Radharani by Bhakti Devi Tulsi Maharani Mercy, we attend Yatra Mata, Prabhuji. Recently, we were attending Baltimore Dham, and my younger daughter Shivani said we will go to Shri Kartik month in Shridham Vrindavan Dham. So this is the mercy of Bhakti Devi Srimati Sisi Tulsi Maharani. By the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, Srila Gurudev, Shri Radha Gopinath, in childhood they attend Yatra with senior brahmachari of Radha Gopinath in touch to touch Shridham Vrindavan Dham. So after long dham, after 12th grade, it's a little distance. Prabhuji, they are not doing sincerely puja, and now they both are doing sincerely puja. They take a dham Shishi Rajram and Shishi Baltimore Dham, Prabhuji, Shishi Radha Madhav is live. Shishi Jagannath Balrams, the tears is not stopped when we visit in the Dham, and we see that all the Bhakti Sangha Matajis, most of them staying in Baltimore, touch to ground Vaishnavi, how sincerely they are doing, making garland, our Vrinda Mataji, our Radhika Mataji, our Radha Mataji doing cooking Seva Prabhuji. So seeing all this sincere Vaishnava Seva, my daughter is literally crying, and she started to increase her round 7, 8 to 12. And Maharaj, I forgot that Maharaj name is that H.H. Yogindra Maharaj. So he's speaking Gujarati. He said that you have to do 16 round, and we get a mercy from the glance of Maharaj Prabhuji. She's sincerely hearing H.H. Jaipataka Maharaj lecture, and behalf of her, I prepare a prasadam today. So by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, Srila Gurudev, Shri Radha Gopinath, we get an association of strong Vaishnava, of Bhakti Sangha, all the teachers and all Bhakti Sangha preachers. Koti Koti Dandvat Pranam to your Seva. Please pray for us that we all Bhakti Sangha Matajis and Prabhuji will enter in Kartik month in Shridham Vrindavan Dham by mercy of Bhakti Devi Srimati Sisi Tulsi Maharani. Hari Hari Gauranga, by the mercy of our Guru Parampara and Srila Prabhupada. Thank you, Prabhuji. No words to your sincere Seva. Koti Koti Dandvat Pranam. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Is there anybody having any more questions for Prabhuji? Okay. More questions? We can end the call here. I would like to offer my obeisances to Prabhuji and Panchakal Kripa Sindhu Bhyeva Patitanam Pavanebhyo.
Mantakuti Vaishnava ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, His Grace Govardhana Giri Prabhuji ki jai, Sri Caitanya Bhagavat ki jai. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Thank you all dear devotees. Vinita Mataji, I can't hear you, Mataji. That's why I just stepped in. Okay. We'll end the call here. Thank you, dear devotees, for joining. Hare Krishna. Mataji, will you be able to end it, or do you want me to pick?
Mataji, maybe you can just take over and
Yeah, I'll just take over. Okay, Hare Krishna.